All right, welcome everybody to the April 13th, I believe, edition of the Key Ministry Idea Share. So thank you, leaders, for being here today. I'm Beth from Key Ministry, and Catherine Boyle is also here. She's our Director of Mental Health Ministry. So this is an open forum, and so we just want to see how's it going. So tell us a little bit maybe about what Easter was like for you. And I know Catherine and I do have a couple things that we'll throw out if after everybody else has a chance to talk. So how's it going, people?
Too tired to respond?
All right.
Did most of you have online services or special services for Easter that were broadcast online? Most people are shaking their heads.
Yeah,
That's great. Did you have those going out on social media? Were they streaming? Were they just posted? And if just however you did it, what was the response?
ours was good. We had it on YouTube and Facebook, and so they had them pre-recorded, and then they had two times when you could watch it live or watch it with the church, but you could go and watch it whenever you want to. So,
for those of you who have the chat function going on during your service, I'm assuming you have hosts for the chat. Is that how yours works? That's how ours works. Okay. And do you feel like families with disabilities are participating? Do you have any sense?
I don't have a sense of that.
Okay.
I can't. Can you see my face?
No, you have to turn your camera on, Tony. We can hear you, but we can't see you.
Okay. No, I did not get a sense of that. But, I don't have a sense either way of that. It was, we participated, but, we like the casual dress.
Right. Right. As church staff, we normally don't get to wear our pajamas to Easter service.
That's right.
So many of you probably know that Key Ministry put together an Easter service, involved about 30 people, some of whom are on this video right now. I want to give a shout out to Ryan Wolf, and for me, he's right over there. Ryan, great job with the message for adults. We've received really, really positive feedback on that. Can you just tell us a little bit about, for those that haven't seen it, what you did and maybe how you do that on a regular basis?
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the kudos there. I had a ton of fun. I tried to challenge myself to do something a little bit different than I typically do with my typical teaching and curriculum. I was given about a 5-minute window to kind of give a message for adults with intellectual developmental disabilities. And what I tried to do with the Easter story was basically take some of the current emotions and feelings that we're all experiencing, whether it be sadness for not being together, confusion for why we're being told to wash our hands and can't be around each other, to fear of germs, and relate that to the Easter story. So basically, those are probably some of the same emotions and feelings that the disciples were having, especially after Jesus died, where they were confused, things didn't turn out the way they thought it would. They were scared. They were obviously hiding in a room together because they thought they might die. They were sad, obviously, because their friend had left them, and then just how Jesus ended up bringing hope to that. What I tried to do a little bit differently was I worked in 50 slides in 5 minutes. And I had those slides behind me because I always like to teach with visuals. So basically almost every sentence I had a different slide or a picture in the background because, just with what we understand of the learning pyramid and retention rates, if you're just talking, it's something like less than 10% of what you say is actually retained. But when you add visuals, it's like 50% or better. When you add, visuals and discussion, it's like 50%. And so I added way more visuals than I usually did or do when I teach. But yeah, it was a ton of fun trying to just relate the whole thing back to the virus, back to how we're feeling. Those are how the disciples felt. And Jesus brought excitement and hope back to the situation that they were in, and he can do the same. So that was a little bit about the Easter message that I was able to share. So yeah, that was exciting. I don't know, Beth, if you want me to share a little bit about what we're getting ready to release. It's very similar in nature.
So Ryan's with Ability Ministry, for those that don't know. So yes, Ryan, tell us a little bit about what you're about to unveil.
Yeah. Basically, I enjoyed so much kind of that challenge of doing a 5-minute message that we decided to create an online video-driven curriculum based on how to be the church during lockdown. So it's a 4-week series. Each week has a 6 to 7 minute message from me. There's a supplemental video that teaches a verse and sign language that goes along with the series. Each set of lessons comes with suggested discussion questions. So basically, here's the format. We give you kind of a fun question or like an online scavenger hunt idea to start off your time. So basically, you as the ministry leader would be doing this on Facebook Live or via Zoom, like we're here today. So you would propose the question or the activity. After that, you would go into my message, which you could post. And then after my message is over, you would follow up with discussion questions that we provide for you. You can use the supplemental sign language video if you want. You don't have to. I think it's a good added piece that you can add in anywhere you want. There's also a document in the curriculum package called 10 Ideas on How to Be the Church during lockdown. So basically the idea is you as a group pick one of those 10 ideas a week to do together. And then you post pictures and videos using the hashtag that we are suggesting people to use. It's simply hashtag Be the Church. So that way you can track it as a group. Then each next week that you get together, you review what you did and share pictures and different things like that. So it's going to be free. Jason is putting on the finishing touches on kind of the editing and making it look real good. So we're hoping to post that early this week for anybody to download for free from abilityministry.com in our store.
That's great. Thank you. That's going to be huge. Yeah. So if you want to see Ryan's Easter message, and I recommend that you do, if you go to keyministry.org, just right there on that main page, you can click to get to the Easter video. And the video is maybe in the first third or so of the video. So we had a kids message in the video too, and I don't think that Barb is on, but I know Bronwyn's son watched it. So that's kind of fun too, if you want to see another way to teach, to reach different learners. So
she did a great job with an object lesson using like cooking in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And total side note, as my family watched it together, like our favorite part was just watching the dog kind of walk through the kitchen.
Oh, the cat! There was a cat. Yes, it meowed. It was a very large cat. A very large cat. Yeah. Yes.
We thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yes, as did we.
Our church in New Jersey, we did something different. Normally, we broadcast online Saturday night and Sunday. There's about 7 different broadcasts on those days. We actually had 2 on Friday night, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. So it was going all the time. And because the campus pastors aren't at their campuses, we have them on the chat line. So they're making comments and things like that. So you know that they're paying attention. The prayer team is also on that too. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of us pretty much everyone doesn't do every service, but there's a lot of people on volunteer prayer team and staff and others that are watching and making comments and things like that. Our special needs campus director, the campus we attend, she made a comment when I hopped on one of the ones, and I jokingly said, I'm in the bathroom with my 8-year-old son, who, so I listened to one of the messages in the bathroom while he was going to the toilet. So as a parent of a special needs child, it's really practical having lots of broadcasts going on. I think I listened to it once there and once in a park while I was walking him around. The rest of my family watched it other times too, because he doesn't really watch the messages, but we can watch them while one of us keeps him busy. So even having, and some churches do 1 or 2, I think, on their Sundays, but even thinking broader than that, having the whole weekend, having services and having your staff team involved and making comments and praying for people online, it's kind of like the Wild West. Facebook chat, I mean, people are making comments and different ones are trying to jump on what they're saying. So it's very dynamic, that kind of follow-up, but it seems to be working well for our camps. And there were other families that were online at different times during the weekend, special needs families following the services that we have.
Great. Have there been any ways that your churches have visibly, noticeably involved families with disabilities in the online service? Kind of like crickets in here.
Yeah, that would be no.
No.
I know our church did
I was going to say our church, we're in San Antonio. No, we're not involving hardly anyone. Our worship team alone, 1,000 people. We just had our staff meeting this morning. We only allowed 10 people on the stage, and that's our social distancing policy in San Antonio. So they did not ask specifically to reach anyone with special needs, and also just being a more compromised community. They're very open to it, but didn't incorporate anybody. But that's a great idea. I might actually see if they want to do that next week, because that would be so awesome for people.
Well, and I guess I was thinking more virtually, because I mean, at our church, we're not gathering. I mean, I think we're doing fewer than 10. It's like a couple people on the worship team are very spread apart on the stage, and that's it. I know, like, one thing that our church did, there was like a He is Risen message where they spliced together videos that families did. And I know they were intentional about including a variety of families, including families that are part of the special needs ministry. So,
Yeah, I really like that idea. Yeah, I think I'm going to see if we can get some of our families involved in that, because we do like pre-service clips.
mm-hmm.
Great idea.
Well,
super
these
good.
days, excuse me, I mean, everybody can do, we're all getting used to like this quality of video and any of us can do this from our cell phone, and it's apparently not hard to splice it together. So,
yeah, one thing that we did was our children's ministry, they do a program for all the children's ministries each week. And so especially the elementary. And what was neat this week is, especially when they do the worship section, we normally have some actioneers up doing it. Instead, this week we had all the families film themselves doing the songs earlier in the week. So the mom and dad, along with the kids, are doing the actions. And we had a couple of families with disabilities that were included in that. And then we did the resurrection eggs and did the story with the resurrection eggs. And we had 10 different, 12 families, whatever it is right now. My head's all mush. Families share the resurrection story, with each family opening an egg, reading the scripture, and then talking about it with the family. And we had 1, maybe 2 families with disabilities that were part of the resurrection eggs with that. So it was neat to have our families with disabilities integrated in with our other families with that.
that's great. Yeah, so these kinds of things just take a little bit of planning ahead of time with whoever the worship planning team is. But again, families can videotape, 10, 20 seconds and send that in pretty easily. I like those ideas, Doc.
Yeah, our church at the beginning, they pre-record everything and splice it together, and then we have like an online kind of viewing party kind of thing. And one of the components is a prayer. So each week a different family records themselves doing the prayer. And certainly I'm like, hey, we can ask some of our inclusion families for that. Because that's certainly something you can do from home, and some of the kids would be really into doing that. So the longer this goes on, the more we're like trying to make those structures, I think, of like, okay, this is what we're going to be doing. So involving more people.
Yeah, and your church has really had some fun things, Bronwyn. I've enjoyed seeing like on Facebook and all that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else doing anything with video? Doing some, I know we've talked about this before, but Zoom meetings with some of your students or families? Zoom gatherings?
We are doing our exercise classes twice a week now on Zoom.
Okay.
On Tuesdays and Thursdays for Jacob's Ladder, and we just started it, so it's the whole Zoom thing is new to me, and so far so good. We also did a 3/21 was International Down Syndrome Day. We did a challenge, a workout challenge, and had a lot of the kids post their workouts on our Facebook page, and we were doing it in conjunction with the Upside of Downs.
Mm-hmm.
So kids posting their workouts online, and now we've started doing regular 2 times a week workouts from your living room with no equipment, and make sure you ask mom or dad if you can put your feet on the coffee table.
It's always good advice.
So that's going pretty good, and we pray after every workout, and so we're doing that.
Good. Thank you for sharing, Tony.
Sure.
The agency that I work with supports people living in group homes, and we have a daily Facebook Live video about half an hour that features music or exercise or prayers, a different activity each day.
Oh, that's great. Is this mostly like local for you?
Yeah, in the Rochester, New York area.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
I love
And
that.
that's been going well. I've also been doing, I'm a chaplain with the agency, and so I've been offering some individual prayer time as well. And that's been received, been meeting with people about once a week. So.
And is that using Zoom as well, or is that over the phone?
That's Zoom, and Zoom mostly, sometimes over the phone.
So let me ask you this: when all this is over and we're back to visiting people in person, will you keep some of those things that you've created? Will you continue to use Zoom to do some virtual meetings as well?
I would definitely hope that like the Facebook Live event would continue, and I would like to use Zoom. I certainly really crave the face-to-face in-person time though.
Yeah.
I would say yes, but not replacing the in-person, but supplementing it, because you can do more exercise programs, more than once a week. And so from that perspective, yes. But on the other hand, it's hard to coach somebody because you can't really see them that good on Zoom, especially with a screen like this. You can't tell them to put their butt down when they plank or whatever, but it's still something, and it's good. And it could be a good supplement to the in-person workout sessions.
Yeah, I think it could help a lot of times when people are in hospitals and bedridden, where we could use, where we haven't done it in the past, where we really haven't thought about it. We've been praying and going and seeing them, but be able to stream in some of the services that we do live for our special needs community. We're also doing, just to add in something, we're doing the prices right through Zoom. So we're trying to do something fun, a connecting event. I don't really know how it's going to work. We'll see. But we're going to try it next week. So we're going to do prices right for all of our, we call them Mosaic individuals, members, but it's our special needs population.
So will this be their first time doing a Zoom with you, or is this, or have you been doing this, but now you're introducing the game?
We haven't done it yet as a group, but yeah, so we're going to have to introduce it. We're probably a couple practice rounds, and then start and then drop off some gift cards at people's houses when they win. So just trying to do something that's going to be, we have a lot of information going out to them. Like we're sending out weekly sermons where our volunteers are connecting with them and talking about the sermons that we're sending out every week, but we're trying to do a connecting event where we can get everybody. So we haven't gotten everybody together. Little groups and pockets have gotten together, but we're just going to see how it works.
Okay, well, you will have to come back and report to us because I'm very interested. I know a lot of the Capernaum groups are trying to do kind of some fun connect events online. So yeah, any ideas, any feedback that people have, please share, because this is something we could probably all use. Here's another idea. Again, this is just asking people to create little video, snippets on video. And actually I managed to splice these together. So, but we had our volunteers in children's ministry just send us little, like 5, 10, 20-second videos of them just saying hi to the kids. And we put those together and posted it on YouTube to share. And the families really enjoyed that. So that's something that's, pretty easy to do. I have like some teenage boys here in my house. So they gave me some guidance, but I actually figured it out. And so it's kind of a fun thing. And, families enjoy seeing those friendly faces. Because I know for a lot of us, it's been probably a month now, right? Since yeah.
I had a question for people, like on the Zoom thing, working with, kids or maybe high school and above, but for our junior high and like 5th and 6th grade population we've been working with, both like inclusion kids and just like the general population kids, it is a big struggle. Like some kids, I think it's easy to like get lost in the, Brady Bunch like setup for some kids. And so my husband, he's the inclusion guy for 5th and 6th grade at our church, and he was on their Zoom call, and he said it's like really chaotic and like kids are like really trying, but he said it's really hard to just like to connect in any way that you feel like, it's like, oh, like we really made a connection. But we're trying. But I don't know if anybody has any other platform they've used or any other way they've connected, kind of with that teen, preteen population, because we're struggling a little bit, I think, with the continuity, especially as this goes longer and longer.
Yeah. No, I agree that this is hard to focus in on the speaker. When I've been doing my little 15-minute Zooms with my students, I do at one point do the screen share so that they're seeing basically a PowerPoint on the screen and just, like my face really little. And that way it's not me holding up something to the screen. But it's hard, especially you don't know what that family is seeing, if they're seeing the Brady Bunch thing, if they're seeing the speaker really big, or it's whoever's making the most noise is really big. So yeah, there's definitely challenges. Does anybody have any really good advice on that?
This wouldn't be something that we've done at a younger age group, but we've done it with our adults, and it makes a big group feel a little bit smaller. In our adult class, we have table leaders that essentially try to manage a table of 6 to 7 adults. So we've got them as pretty good plugged-in volunteers. Our adults know them, and they know our adults in our class. So while we're doing Facebook Live on Sunday mornings during class time, we know that we're not catching everybody. So basically what we've done is we divvied up all of our contact information to those table leaders, and we've asked them to make personal phone calls or set up FaceTime with them individually. Because you're right, this is super overwhelming for a lot of people when you can see 10, 20 different people at once. It's easy to get distracted. So that's why we felt like it's important to schedule a weekly phone call, just to check in, or a FaceTime where you can go one-on-one between the volunteer and the individual. So that's what we're doing at the adult level. Probably could work at the kid level too, as long as there's some relationship there that would support that. And depending on how many you have, if you've got just a handful in a ministry, a ministry leader could make those contacts. But if you've got a ton, it's hard to get around to everybody. So that's why we divvied out the task to our table leaders.
That's a great idea. We've done a couple like big buddy, little buddy FaceTime things, and it started mainly with the people who had the strongest relationships, like people who've been buddied for a long time, or the kids who are really, really connected, and that was successful. But then, like you said, like with so many, it's got to make sure you cover everyone. And no, those are great suggestions. Thanks.
Has anybody done any like sending things in the mail to families? And can you tell us what you've done?
We got a postcard from someone with special needs. And I think they covered everyone. There's like 200 families in our church with special needs. So I don't know how they divided them up, but we got a postcard last week like that. We've gotten those before, but something really good yesterday was first time was a video message from our special needs director of our campus saying, she even said our names in it, stuff like that. So it wasn't like a general one. Right. I don't know how she did it. I don't know if she made one for every family and had their names there, but it was really cool having it personalized, and she had done it ahead of time. So I don't know technologically wise how they do that, but it was nice to have a very personal touch, even because just having that person and hearing her voice and seeing her face, all that was really a nice Easter surprise for our family.
Did it come to you by text, or how did it?
It came by phone. It came to my wife's phone. I don't know. Again, I was trying to ask her how it got it. She's working with our son now. She couldn't give me too many details, but okay. I don't know how they did that, but it was really cool having that that personal touch there.
Okay.
Our church has done postcards and greeting cards as well. So nice to get something in the mail that's handwritten and you can tell it's not been typed out and just kind of signed.
I know we've done postcards, and then we've also been intentional about birthday cards as well. Because birthdays, we've heard, are really hard being alone. There's no friends to celebrate. And then I can't do it for everybody, but I've done activity pages, coloring pages, word searches for people, dropping them off on the doorstep and ringing the doorbell and waving.
And ditching.
Yeah, just a little bit of the normal. We've done an online lesson through Loom, and then it coordinates with that lesson. So.
Great.
This is Dawn Skaggs, and I just wanted to, I didn't get off mute in time, but I wanted to add to the discussion about the Zoom platform.
Yes.
There is an option to do small groups, and you can break out into little chat room groups. And we found that really effective in sort of managing things when they get a little bit chaotic, or it gets to be a topic that would be better to be a discussion rather than just a monologue. So that's been really helpful on the Zoom platform. The other thing on this current topic, one of the ideas that we have been exploring and has worked in other situations where we'd wanted to not just include, but really empower the people with disabilities in our groups was when sending out postcards or short little letters or just little, even pictures to contact and encourage people, not just sending them to the families with disabilities, but having the families with disabilities and the individual themselves take the lead and be the encourager, and take on that sense of leadership for others. It's a really great opportunity, since we're all in the same boat together, for them to really step up and feel like they are the helpers. So sending out postcards from the families with disabilities to others. Sometimes we've done it with people who are living alone, or older individuals, and that really is empowering and encouraging to them to be the one providing the service.
Thank you, Dawn. That's great. And it looks like Catherine probably just dropped off, so I'll do the mental health ministry piece for a second. We know that anytime a person can be engaged in kind of not problem solving, but contributing towards helping in this very strange situation that we're in, that can really help alleviate some of the anxiety over the whole situation. So that's a great way to involve, some of our students and kids as helpers in this situation. So thank you, Dawn.
I'd like to just mention one thing you probably already covered or at some previous meeting, but the security issues with Zoom. I heard there were some things where you got to be careful, and I guess the way around that is to have people sign in, and I'm sure one of you will know about that, but just I know that's out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think. Yeah, Doc, do you want to cover it?
Yeah, Zoom, there has been some, and Zoom now actually has some new security measures in place. One of the things is when you set up a meeting, you need a password or a passcode to be able to get into the meeting, so that helps with it. The big thing that people were able to do, there were some people that could hack into the Zoom meeting that you were having. From everything I've read, it's not that they could hack into the computers or anything, they were just hacking into the meeting. But now having that passcode seems to be preventing that, and Zoom's taking more steps to put more security in place there. So hopefully that's all being addressed and will be a thing in the past.
Yeah. Now, that being said, you probably don't want to post the link to your Zoom meeting program on Facebook, for instance. So you'd want to email out the invitation and not post it in a public Facebook page. Because apparently the bad guys have time on their hands right now and are doing weird things.
Another thing you can do is Google Hangouts, and supposedly that our IT department is pushing for us all to use Google Hangouts versus Zoom, just for that safety reason. I don't like it as well. I like Zoom better, so for what it's worth.
There's also on Zoom where you could, if you're the host, you can let people in, so people can't come in without you actively letting them in. For some reason, mine is set up that way anyway. I don't think anyone wants to bomb my meetings. I don't think there's that much cool stuff, but yeah, that's, I know some people have used that. Our head pastor uses that because he uses the same Zoom room for everything. So you have to you're in a waiting room and then you get admitted in. So I don't know if that will alleviate some struggle.
Yeah, I think part of the biggest problem was when people were using the Zoom, the personal meeting room, and giving out having that same code without a password, and that's where people were doing a lot of the surprise. All right, somebody else was jumping in who had something to share.
No, it was me. I'm Dawn, and I was just going to say the same thing that was just shared about the waiting rooms and the control if you are the host. So I'm good.
And then here's another quick Zoom tip. Just so you know, if you're the host, if somebody accidentally clicks on share screen because they think that is going to change the layout of how they see it, but instead they're accidentally sharing their screen, which has happened to me on meetings that I've been in a couple times. As the host, you can stop the screen share. So when they unintentionally share their screen, you can stop that. we're all becoming these AV tech experts this last month. So. All right, any other ideas, questions, problems? So I know, like for our staff, for the whole church staff, we're still meeting every week. For those of you who are part of a church staff, is that still happening with you? Yeah. Okay. I know now that we're past Easter, things will look a little bit different, but I think we'll still be meeting every week.
Yeah, our staff meets every Monday at 9 o'clock, and today we had 182 in our Zoom meeting. So we had 8 screens.
Seriously?
Yeah, we're a mega church. So
wow, what church are you?
Community Bible Church in San Antonio.
Okay.
So
wow.
So yeah, but we continue to meet, and then we have all of our little team meetings too. So it seems like I'm on Zoom all day, every day.
Relatable. Mm-hmm. I hope everybody was muted on yours. We usually have about between 20 and 30 on ours, and one of the first ones, our pastor, who's an extrovert, said, I miss you guys. Can everybody unmute yourselves just so it feels like we're in the same room? And I thought, oh gosh, no, please. But
I have a quick question for everybody. My name is Lindsay, and I actually get to look after our kids ministry for kids with special needs at different campuses that we have. And one thing we've kind of been discussing is just ministering to the parents of the kids during this time. So, there's a lot of fun things to do for the kids, but it's, hard to be able to know exactly what to do to help the parents. We can't really offer respite during this time, and obviously it's challenging for all parents in general, but just didn't know if anybody had any ideas or things they're doing specifically for the parents.
That's a great question, and you're right, because nothing in person is happening right now. I know a few of you are doing some things. Bronwyn?
Yeah, so we have a moms of children with special needs group that we've been meeting actually for like probably 4+ years, but we've continued those meetings over Zoom. Last month we met over Zoom, and then this month we will as well. And we've been kind of more intentional, I think, about reaching that population, checking in on them. It was kind of like the triage model. I think we started with like, okay, who do we think needs the most support right now? And then we kind of, went through. So we've been doing that. We've also put on our website a list of resources, because a lot of parents were saying, hey, my kids have been really anxious lately, they're really fearful, and I'm not sure what to do. So I had some social stories, one I found, one I made, and then we found another resource, and I intended to give it, kind of just pass it out to our inclusion families, but we actually put it on our main website for everyone, for anyone to access. It's like, why are we staying home? The other one's like, I miss my family and friends, what can I do? And the other one's a book we found online that's in several languages. So we have a lot of languages spoken at our church about the coronavirus, and it's like geared toward kids. So that we've added that all as a parent resource on our webpage. And then one of the teenagers of a daughter of a colleague of mine, she made like a Spotify playlist of all these different worship songs for like early elementary and elementary school, like songs the kids would find familiar and the parents would know. So we're trying to resource them kind of that way. So.
Great, thank you.
What have been some of your top resources that you've used as far as just articles or anything? Is there any specific organizations that offer some good resources? Or have you kind of created your own?
Ministry.
Thanks, Elle.
That's what I'm finding. I'm new to this. So I'm down in South Florida at a church called Christ Fellowship. So I'm really, one of my coworkers found this round table. So I'm excited.
Well, welcome. Thank you. Well, then definitely check out our coronavirus page. So keyministry.org, and then you'll see it. And we do try to share websites and articles and blog posts and training videos and all that from various sources that we recommend. So.
And I would also add coronavirusandthechurch.com. That's linked on our coronavirus page, but they really it's several different organizations. It's like the Wheaton Lee Graham Center, and then the Humanitarian Disaster Institute, and one other. Rick Warren is involved. So they have lots of great information, primarily for church leaders, but there's also a lot of application to families as well. So we have that linked on our page, but you can also go there to see what they have. I would also just want to throw out for our Wednesday roundtable this week, this might be something that is something of interest to this group, or also for the families that you support. So we're going to be talking with Jonathan Holmes, who is a biblical counselor, biblical and pastoral counselor. He's on the board for the Christian Counseling Educational Foundation, which is a big organization that oversees a lot of the approaches that are taken to biblical counseling around the country. And so he's going to be talking with us about dealing with the anxiety and the depression and the emotional health, mental health kinds of things that we're all going through being in lockdown, and then also combining that with the spiritual application to address those things, to really help strengthen people's emotional and mental health, but also strengthen their faith at the same time. So that's going to be Wednesday. The link is on our website. So I just wanted to throw that out before we get off.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
What
And
time
that one will be live on Facebook as well. I don't know, Catherine, if you just said that.
What time is it Wednesday?
It's at
noon
Eastern.
Eastern.
Noon, okay.
Yeah. So Ability Ministry has a big list of online resources, starting with faith-based items highlighted at the top of the page. So if you go to abilityministry.com, then you'll be able to find it, I believe. So that's something to check out as well.
Starting this Friday, our church is starting groups online for people struggling with anxiety. We're using this book, When I Am Afraid by Ed Welch, and it's an 8-week series. 3 of the weeks are dealing with fear of death, fear of loss, and something else. But yeah, it's, we're at the epicenter of the virus, so a lot of us here are anxious, but all around the world, I think people are anxious. So I'm looking forward to participating myself in it, just to see what it's about. And I think it's probably a very practical tool right now.
For those of you who don't know, Al is at Liquid Church, and so he's in the New York, New Jersey area, and is definitely like in the thick of it right now, for sure. Yeah. So Doc has shared in the chat that SOAR, so you go to SOAR, Special Needs Ministry, is hosting a webinar every Friday with information for families and ministries. So this week is Finding Joy in Your Parenting Journey. Doc, I know they can register for it on your website. So
yeah, you can either go to our website, which is sourspecialneeds.com, or you can go to our Facebook page, Source Special Needs, as well there. This week we'll have Dr. Virginia Isbell. She's a Christian psychiatrist, as well as a parent, special needs parent, and we'll be talking about that. And then 2 weeks, the one I'm really excited about, we'll have several of who are on here, but we are going to be talking about disability ministry. What will summer be? Now that we've made it past Easter, I think, especially my feelings are, we may not be out of the woods yet. We may still see this stay at home go into the summer. So we're going to kind of have a roundtable. We'll have 5 or so disability ministry leaders from all over the country, and we'll be talking through what might the summer look like, because we may have to think out of the box when it comes to VBS and camps and everything else. I know that's something I'm dealing with right now, trying to figure out, will my camp be able to go or not? And, that's July. I know I've already talked with some churches who have canceled theirs already, in June. So those are all big things. One of the big camps that's around is Camp Barnabas. That's in Springfield, Missouri. They canceled their entire summer. already. So that's a huge hit for families, and that's something we need to start thinking about. And so that'll be in 2 weeks.
Our Johnny and Friends Pennsylvania retreat got canceled already the first 2 weeks in June, July. So maybe there'll be the third one, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Special Olympics in Ohio, I believe, is canceled
Yeah.
for the summer. That
Yeah,
goes
Special Olympics California too got canceled.
And what what Doc and I were talking about the other day was even when some of these orders are lifted, we serve a very vulnerable population, and some of these large events, just still may not be happening, even if technically they would be allowed. How do we okay, so Doc, how do we register to listen in for what might summer look like? So again, it'll be on the SOAR Special Needs Ministry website and Facebook page when that registration opens, which will probably be
We'll open that next Friday afternoon after this week's webinar. So we just have one webinar open at a time for it. So we'll open that next week. So yeah, and then we'll send emails out and everything too. If you want me to email you directly, you can email me. My email is doc@soarspecialneeds.com, SOAR specialneeds.com, doc@soarspecialneeds.com. I'm happy to put you on my email list, and then you'll get all the notice for it.
Excellent.
Well, and let me just go ahead and throw out another, the next in our Wednesday series. We don't have it on our website yet, but we're going to be talking with somebody about trauma next Wednesday, April 22nd. So just pencil that in on your calendar until we can get it live on our website. It should be hopefully later today.
All right. Well, thank you all. Each week we have new material to discuss. I mean, this has been, again, a lifesaver for me. I really appreciate everybody taking the time to be here, to contribute, to brainstorm, problem solve. This has been really great. So we will continue to do this. So I look forward to seeing you right here next Monday. Again, keyministry.org, you can check out the events page, the coronavirus page, and please reach out if there's anything we can help you with, individually, one-on-one. So, all right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.